So this video is titled The Exact Daily Routine That Got Me to 10K a month. And in all honesty, like there's no set one routine that you're gonna digest and you're gonna adopt that is gonna get you there. The whole thing around daily routines is you tell yourself you're gonna do something and you stick to it. And that's the biggest thing. Like you can create all these routines with manifesting, reading, exercising, meditating, sunlight, breath work, like whatever. But the action itself isn't necessarily the important thing. The important thing is you've set yourself the intention, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do something for a prolonged period of time and I'm gonna do it daily and enough that it compounds into actually getting me results. Especially when you're starting from zero or you're starting something new, the thing to really think about is like, is there anything within my routine that isn't serving me, that's actually holding me back? Now, the most basic thing to think about is actually the time you wake up and the time you go to bed. Because where do results happen most? Results happen most when you're consistent, and you get things most when you're consistent. Like you're gonna see the biggest gains in the gym if you're consistent. If you go every single day, if you go 6 days a week. If you go once a week and you don't go again, you're not gonna make any progress. Or if you learn a new language and you load up that Duolingo app and you do it for like 3 days on the bounce, then you don't do it again. Like you're not gonna learn. Like you need to be consistent. So all these things around daily routine, the bottom line is consistency and setting the intention that you're actually gonna do something and seeing it through. And what you're doing is you're rewiring your brain to be like, okay, I've said I'd do this and I've done this. And you're stacking and slowly compounding all those little wins that eventually compound into something much, much greater. And if I'm honest, the biggest thing is waking up and what time you go to bed. Get consistent with that and you'll be sweet. And other than that, like I don't really think there's anything significant you need to be working on. The thing I would question you and I would ask you is the actions you take, are they actually getting you close to the goal you want to achieve? For example, me starting my agency, I always say the story is I just looked at my daily routine and I was like, okay, well, what actually is holding me back from getting to where I want to go? Like, what are the main things? What's the biggest needle mover activities I need to make sure I get up and do every single day that will eventually get me there? And it was finding clients to reach out to, reaching out to those clients and learning sales. Because if I didn't know how to sell, I couldn't sell the client. And if, excuse me, if I didn't know how to sell, I couldn't sell the client in the first place, so I'd get nowhere. And if I didn't know what clients I needed to reach out to, I couldn't reach out to them. So those are the three things that really mattered at the start. So I set myself 10 outreach, find 10 leads, and study sales for an hour. And that was it. Bear in mind, juggling this with my university degree and my day job working at Red Bull. So that was what I focused on, and that's all I did. Now on top of that, I did have a daily vision that I read every single day, because one of the biggest things holding me back was actually my beliefs and actually believing things were possible for me. I grew up in an environment where, you know, getting a corporate job, going to uni, following the traditional path was very set in stone, and everybody around me was doing that. So stepping out of that path and going kind of down the less traveled route was, yeah, I didn't know the outcome that was going to happen. So rewiring my brain in that way massively helped. So that's why I focused on visualization, affirmation type thing. But you only do that if you actually know the goal of what you're trying to achieve is. Like if I told you, or if you've watched YouTube videos or you've read books and said, hey, you need to meditate for 10 minutes every day, and you're sitting there and meditating, but you don't know why you're doing it, what's the point? What's it adding? You need to make sure you're actually thinking, okay, what's this going to improve? What's the end goal? And why am I doing it? If you don't know why you're doing it, then it kind of becomes pretty redundant. So really get clear on the intention as to why you're doing something, the reasoning behind it. I think consistency and compounding is really, really important. And just making sure you're working on things that actually move the needle for you. For you know, if you're starting an agency, that's going to be outreach, that's going to be learning sales. If you're in high ticket sales and you want to learn how to sell, it's going to be, or if you want to learn how to sell and find a good offer, it's going to be, okay, I need to consistently be learning sales and taking the time to get better at sales every single day. And I also need to make sure I'm reaching out for good opportunities and networking within the space to find those opportunities for myself. That is all there is to routine. For me, like my daily routine now is very, very simple. I'll wake up, first thing I'll do is I'll check Slack and I'll check Stripe and see how the businesses are doing. Then I'll drink my morning coffee whilst checking that. I will then go ahead, hit the gym, hit a swim, run, cycle, whatever it is I'm training for at the minute. And I will eat my breakfast and I'll get to work. That's it. Wake up, work, exercise, work. Like Very, very simple, because that's all that matters. That's all that's actually going to move the needle for me now. I don't need to rewire my brain anymore because I know I can achieve things if I set my mind to it. And my mind is very set on that. For you, that might be different, but just think, intention behind it. Why am I doing this? What's the point? What am I trying to achieve? Is this actually getting me closer? Is reading a book for half an hour on self-help on a topic you're not really that focused on growing in really going to make the difference just because you read the book for half an hour? You end up traveling 100 meters in a million different directions. Lock in, focus on what's important, and get to work.